apparently, Vlad decided to do an interview where he's taking shots at me and throwing me under the bus. And let me just say for the record, Vlad, you are a coward, a narcissist, and a hypocrite. Because I didn't even really watch the whole video, because what turned me off immediately was he started out by saying, "We not friends." You've said to me in my face on multiple occasions that we are friends. But now all of a sudden, because I asked you for a bump in pay and that pissed you off, we're not friends? So which is it? Tell the truth.
Aries Spears finally responded after Shawn and Marlon Wayans lit him up on that podcast. And yeah, this whole situation just got way messier than people expected.
Y'all now, because you've been around, you two have been around, your family has been around through eras where it wasn't, where y'all were famous without the clickbait, right? Yeah. So now that you do get your name added to a bunch of things that where you could just be sitting at home minding your business and they like, we spoke to Shawn.
I wouldn't even know that was on because I'm so not even on social media. I would have to tell them.
Yeah.
Someone on social media has to. You know what they said about you that didn't happen? Right. You know what happened that didn't really happen?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, I got to bring you in on this, man. This is crazy.
Because you had one too.
I did?
Yeah, they called you arrogant. It was a comedian, Aries Spears, I guess.
Oh, yeah, he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And a bitch.
He said you can't look you in the eye.
Why you want to look another man in his eye?
What started as a few comments during an interview has now turned into full-blown public tension between Aries and the Wayans brothers, and fans are picking sides everywhere online. Now the crazy part is Aries actually stayed quiet at first, while clips of Shawn calling him arrogant, difficult, and even a bitch started going viral all over social media. Most people thought Aries was either gonna ignore it completely or come back swinging with a long rant. Well, he finally decided to respond, and he wasted absolutely no time throwing shots right back. One fan jumped into Aries Spears' comments asking him directly why he hadn't responded yet after Shawn and Marlon went off on him during that interview.
The reputation that exists about Aries, the big Loch Ness monster, is he's difficult, a lot of people don't like him, he's this, he's a diva. I'm honest. Yeah. I am brutally honest. To the point where, you know what, and I've said this, my mouth can be my biggest attribute, but it also can be my biggest detriment. Are there times when I probably should shut the up? Yes. But I'm honest. And even when you're honest in what might be deemed a good way, people don't like honesty. Especially when it doesn't work in their favor. They don't like honesty. So they hit you with the labels, hater, this, that. And it's like, for all the shit that people say about me that don't know me half the time, when I go to a comedy club, my ritual is to have my headphones in, not because I'm trying to be a dick or arrogant or aloof because I think I'm the hottest guy in the room. It's game time. I'm like the Bulls. What time is it? Game time. Ooh, I'm getting my focus on. I'm scouring the room. I'm picking out who the potential might be I gotta with, because this person's over here is too drunk, or this fat got on this wrong outfit. It's what I do. I don't like being in the green room because I feel like a hamster in a cage. I want to be out. I want to be accessible. I want people to see me, see them. That brings the guard down a little bit.
Aries saw the comment and instantly fired back with, "Homie, please, Shawn Wayans' comedy is as deadly as a cap gun." Yeah. That line alone immediately had people losing their minds online because Aries basically brushed off Shawn's entire comedy career in one sentence. But here's where things get interesting. This beef didn't randomly appear out of nowhere. This whole thing actually started months earlier during Aries' interview with DJ Vlad.
Unless you're or you disrespect me, yo, I'm super nice, I'm courteous, I'm very low maintenance, I don't want anything. But then I go and I hear these stories. Yo, Shawn Wayans, you can't look at him. He wears shades in the club. You can't talk to him directly. If you make eye contact, you get in trouble. And I go, nigga, your talent doesn't match your arrogance. Like, for you to be that arrogant, you gotta be super talented. And even then, there's never a reason to be that. You should always be as humble as you can be, as gracious as you can be, and as nice as you can be to anybody and everybody, whether it's the manager of the club, whether it's a Fortune 500 CEO show, or whether it's the janitor in the bathroom. There's never a reason to be a dick. So, but if you're going to be a dick, you gotta be Dave Chappelle, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
You gotta be the upper echelon of bad. And I'm not even saying it's right then, but you can't be Shawn Wayans nigga's level of talent and be that arrogant nigga. Let me reverse that, because I'm actually saying it wrong. It matters. Your arrogance doesn't match your talent.
Where Aries decided to speak on Shawn Wayans being arrogant and Hollywood. At the time, people didn't think much of it until Shawn and Marlon finally heard the clips for themselves. Now, once Shawn finally heard what Aries Spears had been saying behind the scenes, things instantly went left. Shawn looked genuinely confused because in his mind, there was never even real tension between them to begin with. According to Shawn, Aries used to be around them heavy back in the day, trying to get involved with their movies, TV shows, and different projects, which is why these comments caught him completely off guard. During the interview, Shawn explained that he barely even pays attention to social media, so he didn't even know Aries had been speaking on him until somebody brought the clips to his attention. And once they told him Aries was calling him arrogant and acting like some untouchable celebrity, Shawn immediately snapped. He straight up called Aries an idiot and a bitch.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Is sometimes you bring out the animal inside of people. We keep our mouth shut. We don't talk about nobody. I didn't go back at him because I didn't care. But now that you bring it up, he's for that because he was begging to get inside of one of our movies or on our TV show. I hooked him up. I put him on a cartoon that we did called The Boo Crew. And I realized how crazy he was. He was a crazy man. So and what he's saying is, keep my name out your mouth. You want real black guys? Keep with him. Yeah. Is that why? We seen him get slapped up already online. Man. So and here's the thing. What happened. Like I said, he always got something smart to say, and I have no disrespect for any black man in this business or anything. Just keep our name out your mouth. Yeah. Keep our name out your mouth. He on a I had a beef with what's his name, DJ Vlad. And, you know, it's one thing, me and Vlad's between me and Vlad. Yeah. Right. But then Vlad asked him a question about, about the situation. And, Aries always got something smart to say.
Then joked about Aries being obsessed with looking another man in the eyes. The whole room started laughing, but you could tell Shawn was genuinely irritated underneath the jokes. Then Marlon jumped in too, and honestly, that's when the conversation got even more personal. Marlon claimed Aries used to ask for opportunities to work with the Wayans family and even said he personally helped Aries get work on one of their animated projects called The Boo Crew. But according to Marlon, after spending time around Aries, he realized Aries was crazy and constantly had something slick to say about people. At that point, the interview stopped sounding like playful roasting and started feeling like years of hidden frustration finally boiling over in public. And the wild part, Aries Spears was the one who originally opened this door himself during that Vlad TV conversation. See, the reason this whole situation exploded so badly...
Speaking of the Wayans, I'm actually going to break this little story here for the first time. We reached out to Marlon Wayans about doing an interview. And he had to speak to his person who, coordinates this stuff. Do you know how much they asked for a Marlon Wayans interview?
I can't wait to hear it.
$40,000 plus 30% of all future revenue.
This is the part where I'm gonna show a lot of growth, because once upon a time ago, I would have just like a chainsaw went and let my mouth run. And it probably puts me in positions that I shouldn't or don't want to be in. So I'm gonna take this moment to grow as a human being and back out of this.
Is because Aries Spears didn't even need to bring Shawn Wayans into that original conversation at all. The interview on Vlad TV was supposed to be about Aries defending himself after years of people calling him difficult to work with, arrogant, moody, and hard to deal with behind the scenes. But instead of just clearing his own name, Aries suddenly shifted the attention towards Shawn Wayans out of nowhere. Aries started talking about rumors he had heard over the years, saying Shawn allegedly wore shades everywhere, avoided eye contact, and acted too important around people. Then Aries hit him with the line that really started this entire mess, basically saying Shawn's talent didn't match his arrogance.
Well, I'm not going to back out of it. So basically, and me and him would DM sometimes. I remember I told him his last stand-up was great and everything else like that. And I basically hit him. I was like, my man, I'd rather you say that you just don't me, rather than give me this number like this. Because there's nobody on earth that will pay you $40,000 for an interview, much less 30% on top of that. And he's like, oh, y'all just work it out and everything. At one point, we even got on the phone, because I was basically like, this is a number.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Here's my question. Had you done it, do you honestly, in your gut and in your head, think that the juice would have been worth the squeeze? And before you answer that, let me say this. Before you answer, if you had somebody AI your voice,
yeah.
It was a cartoon of Trump,
yes,
and it was somebody imitating Trump.
Right.
If they said to you $40,000 to actually get Trump right after the shooting, so much so that when you interview him, he's got the patch on.
Yeah.
That juice is worth the squeeze, is it not?
Yes.
Okay. So if you did pay Marlon $40,000 in your mind,
plus 30%,
in your mind, in your gut, is that juice worth the squeeze?
Absolutely not.
Now we could be wrong.
Absolutely
he could give you the interview of the millennium.
Listen,
I'm just saying, do you really go, yo, this right here,
yo,
this is some Barbara Walters.
I had to break it down to him.
Yeah. Once that clip started circulating online, it was only a matter of time before the Wayans brothers responded. Now, to be fair, Aries also admitted during that interview that his mouth gets him into trouble constantly. He openly said people view him as difficult because he's brutally honest, and sometimes he says things he probably shouldn't say. But fans instantly noticed the irony here. Aries was trying to explain why people misunderstand him, while simultaneously throwing random shots at another comedian who wasn't even part of the conversation in the first place. And that's why so many people online felt like Shawn and Marlon were eventually going to respond one way or another. The Wayans family normally stays out of internet drama, so when they finally addressed Aries publicly, it caught everybody by surprise, especially once Marlon started bringing up old favors, old opportunities, and old behind-the-scenes stories Aries probably didn't expect to get exposed publicly like this.
And I respect the fact that he was trying to bite his tongue, but he was like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Don't talk about my money or my value or what I feel about what my value is. You don't get to do that. And as a black man, you should never, ever do that, because one day you're going to be in my position. Lo and behold, 8 months later, him and DJ Vlad beefing about him wanting more money from Vlad.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
And I was going to say, is the juice worth the squeeze? But I shut my mouth out of respect. And as men, hey man, Aries, you got our number, holla. Because we don't do this.
And I think it's crazy because y'all have put so many black men, black women in position. So for him to come, I'm sure there's so many other people he could have talked about.
It didn't make any sense. Like I said, I thought we were cool. I never had any beef with the dude. It just came out of nowhere.
All I'm saying is we ain't too old to jump people. And it's a lot of y'all.
Why would someone start with y'all?
It's a lot of y'all.
It was a sucker move. It was like, yo, what the hell? What is? You got a little podcast?
Sean, and I was like, Sean likes to wear his shades. Why you care about looking in this man's eyes?
He want to look you in your eyes.
Is that the reason why you're so removed from social media, like because of this kind of activity that happens?
Part of it, and just the other thing is, it doesn't excite me. I like real life, man. I like my family. I like my kids. I like my girl. I like to chill, man. I'm not trying to get in beefs with people and over dumb, silly stuff.
Well, you're gonna have beef now.
But the part that really made this whole beef look bad for Aries Spears was the irony behind everything he was saying. During that Vlad TV interview, Aries was complaining about how people in the industry label him as difficult, disrespectful, arrogant, and hard to work with. He kept saying people misunderstand his personality and mistake his honesty for hate. but fans immediately pointed out something crazy once the Wayans interview clips started going viral. The exact same accusations Aries was throwing at Shawn Wayans eventually came right back on him, and people instantly connected it to Aries' own fallout with DJ Vlad. Because after Aries and Vlad stopped working together, Vlad publicly claimed Aries was rude to employees, difficult during business discussions, and constantly caused tension behind the scenes. So now, social media was looking at Aries sideways like, wait a minute, weren't you just saying Shawn was the arrogant one? That's why Shawn and Marlon's response hit extra hard online. It wasn't just jokes anymore. It started sounding like they genuinely felt Aries had been sneak dissing them for no reason while pretending to play victim in interviews. Marlon especially seemed irritated by the fact that Aries would publicly question Shawn's value and talent after the Wayans family allegedly showed him love behind the scenes years earlier. And honestly, this is where public opinion really started shifting toward the Wayans brothers, because even people who rock with Aries admitted he probably should have just left Shawn's name out of the conversation completely. Instead, one slick comment turned into a full internet firestorm, and now Aries found himself getting roasted by two of the biggest names in comedy entertainment history. Now, one of the biggest reasons Marlon Wayans got so heated during that interview was because of the whole DJ Vlad situation tied into all of this. See, Marlon explained that he already had tension with Vlad before Aries ever got involved. So when Vlad brought Marlon's name up during Aries' interview, Marlon felt like Aries should have simply stayed neutral instead of adding extra commentary onto the situation. According to Marlon, the part that rubbed him the wrong way the most was Aries questioning whether Marlon was worth the squeeze when Vlad revealed Marlon allegedly wanted a huge payment for an interview. Aries basically agreed that paying somebody that much money for an interview didn't make sense financially, especially if the views wouldn't match the price tag. But Marlon looked at that as another black comedian publicly speaking on another black man's value and business decisions. And this is where Marlon felt karma came back around fast, because months later, Aries Spears ended up publicly beefing with DJ Vlad himself over money and compensation issues. So during the podcast, Marlon couldn't help but point out the irony of Aries ending up in almost the exact same position he once commented on. The room got awkwardly funny after that because you could tell Shawn and Marlon felt vindicated watching everything play out publicly. In their minds, Aries inserted himself into business conversations that had nothing to do with him, and eventually those same problems landed directly at his doorstep too. Meanwhile, Aries clearly feels the Wayans brothers are overreacting and trying to clown him publicly over comments that originally weren't even meant to start some giant comedy war in the first place. But even with all the jokes flying around, Aries Spears still wasn't backing down completely. After Shawn and Marlon's interview started spreading everywhere online, fans immediately rushed over to Aries' page, waiting to see if he was going to fully crash out or try to smooth things over. Instead, Aries kept it short, disrespectful, and straight to the point. That cap gun comment about Shawn's comedy instantly went viral because people knew exactly what Aries was trying to say. Aries basically feels like Shawn gets more respect because of the Wayans family name and the massive success of movies like White Chicks, Scary Movie, and Little Man, while Aries believes his actual stand-up skills deserve way more recognition than he gets credit for. And honestly, this is where the debate online got interesting, because a lot of people started separating stand-up comedy from Hollywood success. Some fans argued Aries Spears is naturally funnier on stage and better at impressions, while others said Shawn and Marlon built an entire entertainment empire that speaks for itself. So now, the internet turned this whole beef into a who's actually funnier debate instead of just focusing on the drama. At the same time though, plenty of people also felt Aries kind of walked himself into this situation. The Wayans brothers weren't even speaking on him publicly until his Vlad TV interview clips started circulating again, and once Shawn finally heard Aries questioning his talent and calling him arrogant, there was pretty much no chance he was gonna let that slide quietly, especially with Marlon right there adding fuel to every joke and every shot thrown during the interview. At this point, the internet completely turned this situation into a giant debate over legacy, respect, and who really had the stronger career. Because once people stopped focusing on the insults, everybody started comparing resumes, and that conversation honestly got ugly fast. On one side, you got Aries Spears, somebody a lot of comedy fans still respect heavily for his stand-up, his wild impressions, and his classic Mad TV moments. Even people criticizing Aries admitted the dude is talented and naturally funny as hell on stage. But then, on the other side, you got the Wayans family. And that's a completely different level of entertainment history altogether. Fans immediately started bringing up In Living Color, White Chicks, Scary Movie, Little Man, and decades of television and movie success connected to Shawn and Marlon. People online were basically saying the Wayans name became bigger than just stand-up comedy because they helped shape an entire era of black comedy entertainment in Hollywood. And honestly, that's why a lot of people feel Aries can't really win this beef publicly, even if some fans think he's funnier in certain areas. The Wayans family brand is just too massive, too respected, and too connected to comedy history for most people to turn against them over this situation. At the same time though, there's still a group of fans defending Aries Spears hard right now. Some people feel Shawn and Marlon went overboard, calling him names publicly instead of simply addressing the comments and moving on. Others think Aries just says whatever comes to mind without thinking about the backlash until it's already too late. And judging by how viral this whole thing became, neither side looks interested in fully letting it go anytime soon. And honestly, the craziest part about this entire situation is that it probably never had to get this deep in the first place. One interview clip turned into another response, then another podcast moment, and before anybody realized it, Aries Spears was suddenly getting flamed by Shawn and Marlon Wayans in front of the whole internet. Now, whether people agree with Aries or not, one thing everybody can admit is this dude never really filters himself. That's been both his biggest strength and his biggest problem throughout his career. Aries says what he feels in the moment, even if it creates enemies, backlash, or full-blown drama later on. And in this situation, those comments about Shawn Wayans finally came back around in the worst way possible. Meanwhile, Shawn and Marlon clearly feel like Aries crossed the line by speaking on their name publicly for no real reason, especially considering they claim they looked out for him behind the scenes years ago. So from their perspective, this whole thing probably felt less like comedy banter and more like disrespect from somebody they once tried to help. But if we being real here, most people online already know how this ends. The Wayans family got too much history, too much influence, and too much love in entertainment for Aries Spears to really overpower them in the public opinion battle. That doesn't mean Aries isn't talented, but going at the Wayans brothers publicly was always gonna be an uphill fight from the start. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Who handled this situation better? Aries Spears or Shawn and Marlon Wayans? And do you think this beef is finally over? Or is somebody about to fire back again? But y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Was Aries Spears just being honest? Or did Shawn and Marlon completely cook him for speaking out of pocket? And honestly, who's the funniest out of all of them when it comes to pure comedy? If you still watching, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap into the next video popping up on the screen right now, because this whole comedy world been getting messy lately. Send a hype if you really rock with the channel, and I'ma catch y'all in the next one.